Hello and welcome to the Art Market podcast. Today I'm here with Laura Slater. Hello Laura, how are you?
Hello Fiona, I'm good, thank you.
So for the listeners, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you began as an artist?
I went straight on to Leeds College of Art to do a 2-year vocational A-level. The second year of that I actually specialised in textiles, and then ever since I've been vocationally training in that. So I did my degree in textiles at Loughborough University, and I also did my master's in textiles at the Royal College of Art. After I finished the Royal College of Art, I set up my business, which I'm still working on and developing today. And just really kind of keeping going with that, and things are growing and developing, which is great.
How do you keep your work fresh? Do you go on lots of workshops, and are you continuously refreshing your skills and things like that? How do you maintain that? You're always coming up with new ideas.
Yeah, well, I think it's very important for me to keep developing and keep making new work because of the process that I go through to actually make those collections. So I do an awful lot of looking, photographing, drawing, mark making, print making, and when I get those stolen moments when I'm not kind of production printing products, I'm actually out there kind of making fresh work. So even though I'm about to launch my new collection, Assemble Configure, I'm actually kind of got the seedlings of a new collection for next year kind of developing in the background, really.
And when you're starting on a new collection, do you sketch things out? Do you journal it? What's your process?
My process is, again, just a lot of collecting. I think there's a lot of that idea in my work of collecting components and parts and mark making, and I work very instinctually, usually inspired by the landscape or architecture. And patterns, I kind of see the world around me in patterns, I think. And I try not to really gathering those ideas too much, because I think sometimes when I try and control those ideas, it becomes a little bit contrived. So it usually ends up that I've got piles and piles of sketchbooks of marks and textures and prints and pattern, and that's when I kind of can make links between certain elements that will be the next collection, so to speak.
And when you're going through that process of deciding which patterns you're going to use and how it's going to come together, so for example, with your new collection, how did you decide which to choose? Or do you get someone else to help you, or do you just instinctively know what's going to fit where?
I mean, for this collection in particular, my new collection, Assemble Configure, the idea of it was that I took components that were both structured and organic, and that were kind of found patterns and shapes from my environment around me. So that might be, buildings or the park, and then the idea is that those patterned elements are then kind of developed and exposed onto silk screen. And as I've developed colours and composing those patterns, that's when I've found which elements or patterned elements have worked and will make the final cut into the final print. I suppose it's important to say about my new collection is that, again, to kind of keep that originality and to keep me kind of inspired when printing it, each time I actually print my new collection, Assemble Configure, I rearrange and arrange these patterned components in different ways. So that keeps it fresh for me when I'm screen printing it, but it also means that anybody that buys work from that collection gets a completely individual print and pattern on their product. So none of my products have got the same composition of patterns.
Everything's unique.
Everything's unique, yeah. There might be some crossover somewhere, just because, I am working with probably about 20 to 25 different patterned components, but some things just work really well, so there is sometimes that little bit of crossover, but on the whole, everything's original.
So how do you decide when you've got a collection together? How do you decide on naming it? How do you decide to come up with this title?
Well, I suppose it's the process that I go through, and the concept of what I want, or how I want the collection to be either received or how it's embodied in the actual work. So assemble, configure, because this collection is about the assemblage of all these different components in lots of multiples and lots of different ways. It lent itself to that quite well, I thought. And what's always been very important to me is that, these prints although they're commercial in their application, there is a very kind of thoughtful design process and idea behind each collection that I make.
What inspires you the most? And who inspires you as well?
I'm really inspired by colour and pattern. That sounds really basic.
No, it doesn't.
I really enjoy how they interact with each other. I'm also very inspired by the idea that something that can be kind of so thoughtful and that can be made by hand and has kind of all that time and thought behind it can actually be something that somebody lives with within their home. So I'm kind of quite interested in art being for the everyday, really. And as well as taking inspiration from environments, I'm very interested in how we can make our own environments through, I suppose, the objects that we collect or the interiors that we decide to put together.
Architecture is quite a main feature in your work, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. I mean, I actually really like probably buildings that other people find quite hideous. I enjoy kind of concrete tower blocks that are kind of, in some respects, quite bleak, quite kind of constructivist architecture, and German architecture is really, really interesting. But again, I think that's because of the texture of the material that it's made out of and the shape of the structure of it.
Industrial architecture.
Yeah, definitely.
Berlin would be amazing for you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Bauhaus has always been a massive influence in my work. I think the kind of simplicity of how they use colour and materials and shape is something that is kind of apparent in my work.
You're going to be at the art market this weekend on the 22nd.
I am, yes.
And the 23rd of June, and you'll be showing your new collection that you've just been talking about. So what kind of products will you be selling on the day?
Well, I've got a range of interior products, soft furnishings, so cushions and fabrics. I've also got a range of lampshades, including some new geometric shades that I've been developing recently with a product designer, so triangular and rectangular shades.
Triangular shapes? Hold the press. Triangular shaped lampshades?
Yeah, triangular shaped lampshades. Because I just thought, why? I mean, again, with the actual products that I apply my work to, it's also thinking about how you can develop those as well, so they become slightly more unique or more interesting in their shape or form. So
love it.
That was something that I really wanted to kind of develop. So they'll be there at the art market, and I've also got a range of kitchenware, aprons, tea towels, which are relatively new, and also some new stationery as well. Really?
Stationery? Oh, yep. That's exciting.
Notebooks, greetings cards too. So yeah.
Wow, you've grown in size. That's exciting. I'll be definitely at your stand. What do you love most about the art market?
I think the atmosphere is incredible, again, to be around so many other amazing artists and makers. It's just a really quality fair. It's really kind of, just busy. There's a real buzz about it. And it's just great, and I really do enjoy speaking to people about my work as well. There's a lot of people there that, are really kind of interested in art and and want to kind of come and see it and buy it, hopefully, as well.
Oh, absolutely. I think we get a lot of people who kind of buy in bulk at the art market, and then they become, part of their gifts for that year. And I think that the most important thing about the art market is that you get something unique. You get something that's from the artist that you can have a conversation about, and something about the story behind it, which I think is really important when you own a piece of work, whatever it is, that you can actually tell the people who see it a little bit of a story and go, oh, this artist is Laura Slater, this is what she's inspired by, and you have a little backstory, and I think that's quite nice to pass that on and to share it. It's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's great because it makes everything more human. I mean, it's so easy now just to go and buy kind of products off the shelves and you have no idea where it's come from, or, well, people should probably think more where things come from. And I think it's really good to have that story and that awareness of who's made it, and that it's been made by hand and not by a machine.
Yeah.
I think that's always
yeah, definitely.
important.
And I think it's important for the artist to meet the customer and understand their reactions to your work as well, because that's when you get compliments or constructive information that they think, and that's just equally just as important to part of your process as well, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And again, I think it's really good to be aware of how people view your work, because that's really important to making things a success, really. And again, just that dialogue. And it's really always nice to see who's buying your work and kind of imagine or get a sense of where your work is actually going to be housed or living for the rest of its kind of life. I always enjoy knowing who's got my work and where it is.
So where can we buy your work, apart from the art market this weekend?
Lots of places. You can buy it at the Hepworth Gallery Shop. You can buy it at the National Centre for Craft and Design in Sleaford. Where else can you buy it? You can buy it on my online shop, which you can get to from my website, www.lauraslater.co.uk.
Oh, well, thank you so much for speaking to me. I've really enjoyed it, and I've learned a lot, and I can't wait to see your new collection. I'm very excited.
Thanks, Fiona. I'm looking forward to the art market as well.
Thank you. If you would like to know more about the art markets, go to www.artmarkets.co.uk. The art markets will be happening this weekend on the 22nd of June from 8 till 10 p.m. for the preview night, and also the 23rd from 10 till 4. It will continue on to the next weekend on the 29th of June from 8 to 10 p.m. and also on Sunday the 30th of June from 10 till 4. We look forward to seeing you there. Thank you for listening.